Pork tenderloin, I'm going to slow smoke it over indirect heat. So let me show you a pork tenderloin. This is a whole pork tenderloin. When you get a whole pork tenderloin, you get the tenderloin and the loin, and it's separated by a bone, which is why it comes in two pieces. So what we're going to do is tie it together and create kind of a whole roast, because it'll cook a lot more evenly and it'll be a lot moister. Now, I know there's all kinds of fancy tying measures, but use cotton twine, don't use the polyester stuff, and just slide it underneath. And you're just going to give it a simple little knot. You don't want to do it too tight, because as it cooks it'll expand. So it's just a simple little double knot, keeping your middle finger there, slide it in. We're going to trim these extra things off so they don't catch fire with the grill, but it'll just be one more here and three here, and then we're going to rub it down and she'll be ready. Alright, we got them stringed up, rubbed down with our own pork rub, Fuzzy's pork rub, and kicker. Kicker gives it just a little bit of heat. We're going to rub these down, which we've already done. We're going to slow cook them over charcoal with indirect heat, and then we're going to grill them using barbecue sauce at the very end over a gas grill to kind of caramelize it. So this stuff's going to be awesome. Alright, I'm sitting here watching a little football on my kitchen television. Got the grill going outside, some charcoal for this pork, and I thought it'd be a good time to talk a little bit about rubs. I think when you look at barbecuing or grilling in general, obviously the ability to correctly cook the meat is extremely important. If you've got raw meat, you're puking. If you got overcooked meat, you're eating a shoe. So obviously it's important that you learn how to properly cook meat, and I'll have something to tell you about that in a second. But dry rubs, in my opinion, I mean, you can't even think about the flavor or describe the flavor that good dry rubs add. And when you look at dry rubs, it's kind of specific to the meats, and we're doing pork today, so let me tell you a little bit about some of the things you can use, and you can experiment and try your own rubs. And you could have anything from ground mustard to chili powder, paprika, cumin, which gives it a nice smoky flavor, cayenne red pepper, which gives it some kick. You can put minced garlic in your rub. Obviously, salt, pepper. That's going to be in any rub that you do. I've even used seasoned salt in a rub. And then you've got minced garlic or minced onion in this situation, and good old-fashioned sugar, both white sugar and brown sugar. So you can experiment with your own rubs. The main base for a rub for pork would be sugar, either white granulated or brown sugar. You'd have some sort of a heat or spice in it, like a cayenne or a red pepper flake. You might have some paprika. Those are really the keys. And then you can throw in some other things. I mean, at that point, you just sparingly start adding other things. Now, you notice we don't have things like herbs in this for pork. Now, that stuff works. In fact, you can take a good steak rub and you can put it on a pork loin and it'll be beautiful. But I'm talking about traditional pork rub today. And then, and you can go out and buy them. I mean, Emerald has a good one. Fuzzy's come out with a good one. In fact, he's got two that I use quite frequently. His pork rub, which is what I actually used today on the pork loin. And then the kicker, which gives it just a little heat, a little bit more of a saltiness, but it doesn't overdo it. Those two together just make it absolutely, I mean, you can't miss. If you can get a good pre-made rub, then you don't have to worry about trying to formulate your own rub. If you're really into cooking, really into barbecuing and grilling, you know, experiment and come up with your own recipe. But if you're not, if you just want to put good food out there, you know, get a good rub where they've already done the experimentation and the work for you. And in terms of cooking the meat, here's what I do. I'm watching football and golf today. Got the FedEx Cup going. We've got the first Sunday of the NFL going. My grill's outside and I'm using an indirect cooking method, so it's going to take a while. But with pork, it's so important that you don't overcook it. So what I've got is a little contraption here. This will go outside here in a bit when I put the pork on. And this goes into the meat, into the center part, furthest away from the heat. This gets turned on. And then I have this sitting with me. You can put it on your belt loop. It feels a little geeky, so I don't. I'll sit it with me. And when it starts approaching the correct heat, which for pork this thing's set at 170, I'm going to take it off the grill when it's maybe 155 to 160 because I'm going to finish it on the gas grill and caramelize it with some barbecue sauce to give that caramelized, crispy, sugary coating. So that's what we're doing in terms of today's pork loin. I hope you've enjoyed. I'll take you out and we'll show you what's going on while we're cooking using indirect heat. But don't neglect dry rubs. Dry rubs can give you so much flavor, and for those of you on a low carb diet, dry rubs add a lot of flavor without any carbs, although if you're sensitive to sodium you may want to be careful there. But anyway, just another layer of flavor on top of well prepared meat, and my gosh, you can't go wrong. So that's barbecue my way. Alright, here's what I've done. I've taken my Weber, and by the way, I know I need a new Weber, but the thing doesn't fall apart, and it cooks just as well as when it was new. So anyway, I probably need a new one. But I've taken the charcoal, and I've started it up, and I've divided it onto two sides, and then charcoal, as you know, is just pure carbon. So what I've done is I've taken some hickory, and I'm burning that off, and then that's going to provide some flavoring for the pork, which is going to be cooked indirectly. In other words, the pork's going to go in the middle, so the heat radiates up and around it versus directly under it. So it's going to be more of a slow cooking method, and I wish you could smell this hickory right now. Alright, the two pork loins are rubbed down. They're put on. Don't worry about the flames, because when I put the lid on, the flames go away. We've got the hickory in there, kind of burned down a little bit to provide the flavor. It's just going to be awesome. It's going to be probably 2 hours. I won't even put the meat thermometer in there yet. It's going to be a while before that's even necessary. So we're putting the lid on now, and join us for some good old pork loin, pork tenderloin. All right, I'm in watching golf.
$87,000 difference.
My pork is being grilled out there.
Donald and Kelly and all those players.
As you can tell,
finished.
This
So it is taking
is the temperature at 119. The goal is 170.
Like I said earlier,
it's kind of a cool deal. So I'm going to sit in here and watch golf while, 120. Moving on up. Alright, what I've done now is I've applied some barbecue sauce, some of Fuzzy's mild sauce to the pork loins, and I put them back over the coals. I've added a couple more coals to bring the heat up, and we're going to caramelize the barbecue sauce, kind of a quick little maneuver, and we'll be ready to carve it up and eat it.